Hey guys, welcome here. In this lecture, we'll be working together on reset password functionality. So without any further waiting, let's start and we will start the coding. But before that, we need to, of course, set up starting projects because I have already prepared some code for you. If you don't know how to set up starting project, you can watch the first lecture. You can find the link in the description of this video. It's very well explained there how to set up a starting project. In this lecture, I'll be working specifically on a version 1.3. So you can either go to my GitHub repository, click on version 1.3, you can download it, or you can simply clone my repository and you can check out into a version 1.3. All of this is very well explained in this video. You can find in a description of this video. Okay, so let's start. You can open your terminals and my project is already running. So I will shut this down and I will check out into a version 1.3. All right, so first verify a branch. I'm currently on. I'm in a validation branch. I would like to go to master, and then I would like to check out to version 1.3. So I will go to git checkout, master. I have done some changes, so I need to commit them first. So I will clear my screen. I will write here git add space and a dot. I will add everything, git space commit -m to commit changes with a commit message, let's say, adds validation. All right, and now I can check out to master branch. So git checkout master. Okay, now I'm in a master branch and I can check out to version 1.3. So I'll write here git tag to list all of the tags, and I would like to go to this version 1.3. So I'll write here git checkout -b, name of my new branch. Let's say we'll call it reset password space. I would like to check out from a version 1 v1.3 like this. I'll verify a branch. Now I am in a reset password. I have checkout from version 1.3, so I will start it up. npm run dev. I will open a new tab in the same folder, and I will run up my server. So npm run server, and of course you should install before all of these, all your packages, but I have them already installed, so you can run npm install additionally. Okay, we can verify this. We can go to localhost 3000, and it's running. Okay, now you want to work on the reset password functionality, and for this I have prepared page for you. So when you will go to localhost 3000, you will go to reset password. You have here page where you can enter your email, and you should get activation link into your email address so you can reset password. But before we will start any implementation, I would like to show you wireframe what we need to do. Okay, so here we are on localhost 3000, right? From this page, reset password, here we would like to send a post request to an endpoint API / reset password, and we would like to include email from the form we'll be writing here. This data will go to our server to localhost 3001, and with this email, we'll try to find a user that this email belongs to. If the user doesn't exist, we will return an error. Then we want to try to find activation hash, and about activation hash I will be talking later a little bit. Activation hash is simply just a data we'll be storing into our database, and this activation hash will keep information about the user, and thanks to this activation hash we'll be able to reset the password. So we'll try to find this activation hash, and if it doesn't exist, we'll return again error. Okay, so if all of this will pass, we will try to create a new activation hash. Okay, so we'll be creating new activation hash where we will provide a reference to our actual user. Okay, so this activation hash will contain a reference to our actual user. And then we'll simply send an email including activation link to reset the password, and this link will also include activation hash. Okay, so we'll send an email including activation link to reset the password, and we'll respond to the user some status, error or success, depending on this process here on the server. Okay, from the point we'll get an email with the activation link. We'll be redirected, so when we will get this email, we will have their link that will lead us back to our application to localhost 3000 / reset password / this part here will be activation hash will include in this link. Okay, this will lead me to localhost 3000 with this actual page, and on this page I will have a form to reset the password where I will be prompted to provide a new password. Okay, so I'll be redirected to a page like this, reset password / some hash. Okay, and here we'll provide a new password. Okay, from this point on, when we will create a submit that we want to reset the password, we will make a post request to our API server to API/reset password to /API/reset password /confirmation. And we will also include password and a hash we have here on the page. You will see the details when we will be implementing it. On the server, we will check if a hash exists. If not, we'll return an error. We'll try to find a user that will be included in this activation hash, and we'll change the password of the user. Then we'll respond with the status of the activation of the activation. So again, success or error. And also we'll remove the activation hash here. Okay, I think, yeah, that's a lot of steps. You can find this wireframe in the description of this video, but I think it will be much easier to start coding and you will get a point. Alright, so you can open your coding editors and we will start by creating of this endpoint API/reset password, where we'll try to send the email from our page here, reset password. Okay, and actually we can already send a request. When I will inspect the page and I will open here network, you should be able to see that we are already sending email. I'll submit and you will see, actually I need to provide here a valid email that we are sending here. Actually, now we are getting error, but no worry about it, because there is no actual implementation for this API endpoint yet. But you can see that we are making a request to localhost 3001 API/reset password, and we should be including data here. Okay, let's scroll down here. You can see email. We are including this email I have wrote here. Okay, and this should go actually into our server. Okay, so let's try to receive this data in our server. So let's go back to our coding editors. And yeah, let's open our project. Let's go to our server folder. So let's open server index.js and we'll create an endpoint to reset password. Okay, so let's say under API/test, we will create the post endpoint, so app.post with a path of a /API/reset. We'll make this wider. Reset-password. That's what I specified, right? That's where we are making a request from our client. This will be asynchronous code, so I'll write here asynchronous function, which will get me request and a response. So request and a response here, perfect. We will try to get the email we are sending on the request. So I'll write here const email, and we will try to get it from a request.body. Okay, so request.body. Okay, now I'll write here a try and catch block. Okay, and I'll try to get a user first. Since we have an email, we can try to find a user in a database. So I'll write here const user. I'll write here await our user model. I will try to find here user by this email. So in curly brackets, email. If you don't have a user, so I'll write here exclamation mark. If you don't have a user, simply let's return here response status 422, which should be failed, and let's send here error. Let's say user doesn't exist. User doesn't. Let's write here double curly brackets, so I can write here doesn't exist. All right, so let's continue. So if user does exist, we can continue and we can try to find a hash. Okay, so I'll write here const has hash. All right. And I will write here, I will try to find a hash, but there is a problem. We don't have a structure of a hash in our database, so we need to create a new model. Some time ago, in some of the lectures, I was explaining when you want to create a model and you would like to store them into data into a JSON file, you simply need to export the model from the file, like we are doing here, file database register, and you will export this register from here. But in this case, we would like to register here not the users, but access hash or activation hash. It doesn't matter how you will call it. So I will copy this part here. I will create in a server folder, or actually in a DB folder, I will create a new file and I will call it access-hash.js. Let's import this here, and we will simply register here new model, and we'll call it. Let's say we need to create here a name of the collection where we would like to store our data. So we'll store data, let's say, to activation hashes or something like this. Oops, not here. Let's write here activation hashes. hashes like this, and this will create a new model for us. We can remove decrypt, and that's basically it. This will create a new JSON file where we can store a new data. All right, so now we can create this model. We can import this model into index.js into our server folder. Let's go up here and let's import here this new structure. So let's write here const, how we call it? We will call it access hash. Access hash require from a db./db and access hash like this. All right, so we have access hash. Now we can scroll down here and we can try to find our hash in the database. Of course, I have just created my JSON file is not even existing yet, so it shouldn't be found. So, but we want to check in a case we have some hashes. So you would like to find here, and let's assume we'll be storing this. We'll have on activation hash user ID key. So let's try to find activation hash by user ID. We can get it from a user.data._id. Okay, because here we have our user structure, and each access hash will contain user ID key. So access hash will just look like an object like this, which will have a user ID to a reference of actual user ID, and that's gonna be it. Also, in the ideal case, you would like to have the also property that will say when this activation hash expires. And this should be some date in let's say in a milliseconds or some timestamp. Okay, and you would say that this activation hash expires in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So user has only, from the point hash is created, only 5 or 10 minutes that he can reset the password. We don't want to allow to get this activated at any time. We would like to create activation hash only for a limited time, so it cannot be used multiple times. Okay, so that's, you would, in ideal case, you would keep here also expires at time and the reference to our actual user. But in this concept application, we will not use expires because we don't have even real database. All right, so first we'll try to find this access hash by user ID. We can get from a user data._id, and then we can check if we have a hash. So if we have a hash, so if has hash, then we can just simply return again error. So return, we can copy this error here. We just will change a message. So return status 422, and let's say email to reset password was already sent. Okay, so if access hash already exists, this means we already sent this email and user has access to this activation link. So I'll write here simply email to reset password was already sent. All right, let's continue. So if we don't have a hash, okay, this means we need to create a one. Okay, so I'll create here a new variable. I will call it, we can call it hash. Okay, so let's simply create here a hash and await. All right, and the new access hash, and actually I don't need to write here await, it's not asynchronous, so new access hash. All right, and access hash will contain user ID only. That's gonna be it. So user ID, and user ID we can get it from user data._id. Okay, so let's simply, I'll copy this part and I will assign it to our access hash. So we'll be creating this hash. Then of course we need to save it. So I'll write here await hash dot, we have a function available save. Okay, and then we can send a response to user response.json with a message. Okay, whatever message you want. So let's say please check your email in order to reset password. Please check your email to reset the password. Okay, but there is one important thing missing. We are not sending any emails. Okay, that can be a problem. So of course we need to send an email. So here will be send an email. Okay, in a catch also, in a catch we'll just return error, doesn't really matter, return response status 422, and send there, let's say, oops, something went wrong, oops, something went wrong. Okay, so we want to send an email, and we have already function to send an email, send confirmation email, and very similar function we want to make to send an email to reset the password. Okay, so we will create a new function for it. Okay, so I'll save this file. I will open here new files, my folder structure, and we'll go to our server mailer.js, and we'll create a functionality to send an email to reset the password. For this, actually, I don't want to copy this whole function. I would like to reuse this function. What I would like to just do is to create two separate functions, one to send confirmation email and one to send a reset password email, so we can reuse this functionality here. Okay, so for this, actually, I don't need to export this function, or yeah, we will do it like this. Now let's write here a new function up here, and this function will call just simply send email. All right. Okay, send email function, and this function will just receive a message. Okay, simple as that. We will receive a message here, and it wants to send a message. So I will copy this entire return promise from here. Okay, like this. So copy this entire promise from here, and let's paste it into send email. Amazing. So to send email, we'll be receiving message, and we want to send this message so that this so that way we don't need message here. So I can remove this entire message. We'll be constructing this message somewhere else. So I'll remove this message. Then the transporter, we will send an email with the message we'll be sending into a send email function, and that's it. I'll verify, yes, we are getting here Google password, Google user. All right, and we will create here two separate functions. One, send confirmation email, and under this, I will export new function, exports, and let's call it send reset password email. Send reset password email. Perfect. Okay, so to both of these functions, we will receive two user object and also hash. So also here we'll get a two user and hash. Perfect. Let's try to first improve our function here, send confirmation email. Actually, we don't need to return promise from here. What we need to return from here, I will just make here some new lines so it's more visible. I will just simply return from here function we have created up here, send email. So I'll call here send email, and I'll provide here email we will construct. So I'll copy this message from here. All right, I will get it here, and simply I will provide this message into send email, and that's it. Okay, so here we are constructing message. Here we are using to user and a hash, and we are providing this message to send email, which is responsible for a sending of emails. Now I can remove this entire part down here. All right, like this. Okay, and here is my email to send a confirmation email, and now I can do the same with the reset password email, so I just simply need to change a message. So I'll copy this entire content of this, and I will just change the parts I need to, that they needs to be different. So for example, here a subject will be different. Let's say your app dash reset password or reset password request. It's up to you. Here we can display hello to user. Username can stay. Then we can display here, let's say, to reset your password, please follow this link. Okay, I'll remove this entire line here. To reset your password, please follow this link, and here will be actual link. Okay, so board this out. Here will be a element, target will be underscore, so it will open a new tab when link is clicked. Agent will be process.env.domain, so localhost 3000. And actual path here will be not API, because this will go to our page. This will navigate us to a page. Okay, so I will remove this API part and also this part here, and this will be domain/reset-password/hash. And here I will say, let's say, activate or reset password link, reset password link. Okay, like this, guys, we can scroll up here, cheers can stay, your application team can stay. So basically where I'm navigating here, I'm navigating to our localhost 3000 /reset password/activation hash, which should be, of course, valid hash. Now I'm providing here some random hash that's not actually even created in our database yet. All right, so let's continue with this functionality. Let's go back to our coding editors. Now we have a functionality to send an email, a reset password email. So we'll copy this function. we'll go to our index.js, we'll import this function. Up here, let's import it next to a send confirmation email. We'll import here send reset password email, and we'll simply call here, let's see, activate user reset password. Here, after a hash is saved, we'll send here value await reset send reset password email like this. Okay, I will remove this comment here, and now we should be able to send an actual email. Alright guys, I will verify this, so let's save everything, please. You need to, of course, restart your Node servers, but before that, I will verify what data I have in my database. So in my database data, I have here pending user, none. Users.js, I don't have here any data, so I need to create first user, I need to register user, I need to activate the user. Okay, so let's do it. So back to our terminals, you can restart just your Node server. So I will clear it out, I will run here npm run server, I will go to browser. All right, so here, let's see, localhost 3000, I will try to register a user, so sign up. Username will be test, email will be test@gmail.com, and the password will be test, submit. I should get a confirmation email to create a new user. Okay, so this can take some time, so let's wait a couple of seconds. Please visit your email address. All right, I will do. So I'll go to my email address and we'll check it out. All right, so here it is, your app activate account. So I'll click here and hello test. Click here to activate your account. So I'll click here and now I should be activated. I can now log in. So I'll click here login and I will use here my email and the password test. I should be redirected to homepage and my user should be created. So now when I will go to my code into a server folder data, I should have here a user, as you can see here. Perfect, so we have a user. Now we would like to reset the password. So let's go back to our browsers. And let's go to /reset password, so reset-password on localhost 3000. And we will try to provide here email that doesn't exist. Okay, so I'll write here test, let's say 99@gmail.com. There is no such a user in a database with this email, so I will submit this and I should get here user doesn't exist. Now I will use here real email of registered user, so let's say test@gmail.com. That's the user I have just registered, so I'll click here submit. And oops, something went wrong, so it wasn't actually successful and we are getting somewhere error, which is not very good. We can inspect the error here, but there will be not really much information here about this error. We should find the error. In our code. Okay, so email to reset password was already sent. Okay, so let's go back to our coding editors, and I made some typo. Actually, maybe I can check my terminal. There are no errors, so let's go back to our coding editors. Okay, first I will verify if my activation hash was created. Let's go to data, activation hash, and indeed, activation hash was created, and after that we got error. So when you will take a look on your code, this means this code here, hash.save, was executed, but the code here in send reset password email was not executed successfully. And you can see exactly why. To send reset password, you need to provide to user and also hash, the same as we are providing when we are registering user. So you can find a similar function to send confirmation email. You need to provide to user and also hash. Okay, so let's do it. So let's scroll up here and we'll provide here hash and to user. So let's scroll to our reset password and let's provide here data to send a reset password email. Okay, so object here to user, you know how to get from a user.data. So user.data, now we'll get here a hash, and hash you also know how to get. We have here actual hash object, so we can provide here hash.data. We would like to include here data ID of our hash which was created. So this ID here, these are ID of our activation hash. So that's what we are providing into an email address. Okay, oops, let's save this, please. Let's restart your server, and also please let's remove this activation hash. Okay, let's remove it completely. Let's go back to our terminals. Let's restart our Node server. Let's go back to our browsers. Now we should be able to reset to send this activation email to reset the password. So I'll click here submit. It's taking some time, and you will see very shortly that we'll have here a success message, and maybe during the time we could display here some spinner image so the user knows that something is happening. Okay, so check your email in order to reset password. Let's go to your emails once again, and let's see it here. Here is another message. Hello test, to reset your password, please follow this link. And here is a reset password link, which will lead me back to my application, reset-password/id of a hash. When I will click it, I will be prompted to enter a new password. So now we can provide new password, we can submit. We can see actual route. So I will inspect, right click, let's see network tab, and we will see where request will go. Submit, and you can see the request is going to localhost 3001/API/reset-password/confirmation. So we need to create this API endpoint. So I'll copy this part. Once again, we'll go back to our configurators and we'll create this endpoint. So now we are in this part here. We are clicking on activation email. We are navigated back to our application. We are making post request with a password and a hash. And then we would like to check this information. If the hash exists, we want to find a user and change a password. Okay, and we can also verify what data we are sending in the request. So when I will scroll down here, you will see we are sending hash. That's from a URL here. And also password we are inputting here into this input. Okay, so I'll close this and we'll proceed with the functionality. We'll close all of these tabs here. They don't need to be opened. Okay, let's go back. We'll create this new endpoint in our index.js, and under reset password, we'll create a new endpoint. So let's write here app.post. All right, and /API/reset password/confirmation, again, function here, which will be asynchronous, where we'll receive a request and a response. So async request response. All right, we'll get here password and a hash from a request body. So const, we'll get here password and a hash from a request body. Oops, typing too fast. All right, so request.body, we can write here try and catch block to catch errors if there will be some. Okay, and the first thing what we would like to do in a try block is to find this access hash. So right here const, and we can call it a hash for access hash, and we can find it here. So await and access hash dot find by ID, so in the curly brackets ID, and we are looking for a hash. Okay, so hash is the ID of the hash, so that's why we are looking like this. And it should be actually underscore ID. That's what we are keeping in a JSON file underscore ID. All right, so underscore ID by the hash. Okay, and then we can check if we don't have a hash or hash doesn't contain user ID. So if a hash doesn't contain data.user ID, remember we are keeping also user ID here. Okay, then something went wrong and we can return here error. So return response.status 422, send a message, let's say cannot reset password. Cannot reset the password. All right, otherwise let's continue. All should be good, and we can remove the user. Actually, what I will be doing here, we would like to update the user password, right? But in my simple database, I don't have a functionality to update actual data. I have only functionality to remove data and create data. So in ideal case, when you are using normal database, you should always have an option to update your data. What we'll do now, we will remove and create a new user with a new password. So we'll copy data from a user into a new user, and we will remove an old one and we'll save a new one. Okay, so a little bit hacky, but I'll write a comment here that in the ideal case, you should update any user with a new password. So first what we will do, I will write here await, we'll remove a user from database. All right, and actually we don't have here a user, right? So we need to first find a user. That's a small detail. Okay, so let's write here const user, and let's write here await and user dot find. We can find a user by underscore ID we can get from a hash. So a hash dot data dot user ID. We are including on a hash. And if we don't have a user, then we can throw the error. So if we don't have a user, let's return here return response status 422 and send me a message. All right, and a message will be cannot. Yeah, the same one, cannot reset the password, so I can actually copy it. Or the user doesn't exist. It's really up to you how you will handle these errors. Okay, then now we can remove the user. So right here, await user.remove. We will remove also hash. Await a hash activation hash.remove. All right, then we will copy new data to new user. So const new user. All right, and let's write here new instance of a user model where we will copy old data. So from our old user, so we'll destructurize user.data and we'll provide here new password we are sending in a request body. So I'll write here password. We'll include here as well. We want to hash new password. So let's write here await and new user. We have a functionality on user object to hash password. So to transform it into not readable format. Okay, so hash password. All right, and then we'll simply save a new user. So await and new user.save, and then simply we'll return a JSON that user has been resetted, password has been resetted. So return response.json with a message password has been resetted. All right, and a catch, we can just check here. Yeah, oops, something went wrong. So I will copy this error message we have up here. I will just simply get it down to catch. Okay, oops, something went wrong. All right, so that actually should be it, guys. So we are sending requests, we are getting password a hash. We are sending from our page. First, we are trying to find a hash. If we don't have a hash or a user ID on a hash, we are returning error. We are trying to find a user. Then, if a user exists in our database, so we can reset actual user password. If user doesn't exist, again we are sending error. Then we'll remove the old user. We'll remove also hash. We'll try to create a new user from old user data, where we will include a new password which we are sending in a request. We will hash this password, so this format is not readable. This form of the password is not readable, so that's what we are doing with our user. We are hashing passwords, so they are not readable format. All right, and then we are saving a new user, right? So we are saving a user, and then we are sending a response JSON with a message that everything went well, password has been reset. All right, guys, let's try it out. Now we should be able to reset a password. So let's save this, please. Let's go to our terminals. Let's restart our server. So let's run here npm run server. Everything is running. We can go back to our browsers. All right, and once again, I will close this. I will go to my browser and I will click here again on this reset password link. It should lead me again to my page to reset the password, and I will provide here a new password. So I will write here test1. This will be my new password. I will click here submit, and you can see here your password has been successfully changed. Now when I will sign in here, I will provide here test@gmail.com, and first I will try my old password. So I'll write here test. I will submit, and I should get an error, invalid password. I will try to write here test, and 1, submit, and it's working, and I have been logged in. In your database, you should see that users.json, there are no changes, just the password was changed. In the pending user, you don't have any users, and activation hash should be removed as well. So everything is working as it should be. Alright, guys, so just to recapitulate a little bit, or actually before that, we can just try it one more time. This entire functionality, okay? So we can just go to reset password. Of course, you can include the link to reset password page in your under login or whatever, whenever you want. Okay, and we'll provide here new password. So let's say test. Oh, actually, it should be email. So test@gmail.com. Submit. Okay, check your email. I will check my email, and here should be email to reset the password. To reset your password, please follow this link. So I will click on this link. Now I can provide here my new password. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Submit. I will try to log in with my test user. I will provide here my old password test1. Submit, doesn't work. I'll try to provide here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Submit, and it's working. Alright, guys, so Just to recapitulate, we are sending a request from our reset password form, post request to endpoint API / reset password with our email we are including. We are trying to find a user, and if user doesn't exist, we are returning error. We are trying to find if we have already activation hash, because there should be a possibility that we already have activation hash. If it doesn't have it, we will return an error. Alright, then we'll try to create a new activation hash with a reference to a user. That reference is the user ID we are including inside of an activation hash. Then we are sending email including activation link to reset the password. Okay, so to better understand it, we can also see our code. So here is our endpoint to reset the password. So we are getting in a request email. Then we are trying to find a user. If we don't have a user, we are sending error. We are looking for a hash. If we have already hash, then we are sending error. Then we are creating a new hash, saving this hash, sending reset password email, which include the link into our page, which will also contain this hash ID. And then we are sending a response of a success or an error, even in a case that some error was catched. Okay, so now we are in the point we got the email with a link into our page, so localhost 3000 / reset password / ID of a hash. Okay, so this will lead us to our page where we need to input the password and we need to click submit. From the point we'll click submit. This will create a request. It will create a request to go to our page localhost 3000 reset password. Okay, then we are submitting form and we are making this post request to /API /reset password /confirmation with password and a hash in the request body. We are checking if hash exists. If not, we are returning error. We are looking for a user, changing password by copying a user into a new user object and removing the old user and the hash as well, and responding with a status. Okay, so that's what's happening here in this part. We are getting password hash. We are searching for a hash. If we don't have a hash, returning error. We are looking for a user. If we don't have a user, returning error. Removing old user, removing hash. Creating copy of the user with a new password and hashing password and saving the user and responding with the password has been resetted. Alright guys, so that should be it. If you are looking for some resources, you can find them in the description of this video. If you would like to see more videos or you would like to have a more step-by-step guide or the entire course, you can find my complete courses on the website encode.com. You can also find a link to this website in the resources, or you can just search me in Udemy. I have a lot of courses with lots of hours of content and step-by-step guides if you are interested into such a content. Okay, I will show you. You can find them at encode.com. A lot of courses, and here is I think this one Next.js. That's or actually this Apollo course is this course. I have this base application from. So guys, that should be it. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to provide you answers. So guys, I hope to see you in some of my other videos. Cheers.